Welcome back to Sports Central. Today is our Thanksgiving special. So instead of our traditional broadcast, we will be here at the desk going around the table discussing sports topics. I'm Peyton Price alongside me, my other host, Jackson Bickers. To my right, it's Brant. Over here is Mason and Shane. Let's get started with Jackson pulling a topic out of the hat.
Team MVP for the CMU football team.
That's easy.
I think I can start us off.
Okay.
I'm going to go with something a little different. I'm not going to go with a player specifically. I'm going to go with a coach on staff. I'm going to go with Sean Cronin, the defensive coordinator for the Chippewas. The way that he's really been able to turn around this Chippewa defense, a defense last year that I believe only had forced 5 turnovers all season. His team has forced a turnover in every single game this year. It has really allowed for the CMU offense to have a lot of short fields, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah.
I think that's easy to argue. I think based on watching every game, it almost feels like you can't blame a loss of ours on the defense. They've held their ground most of the way. They forced those turnovers, like you said. I think they've been strong. So I think that's easy to say, yeah.
I think not a coach, player, defense. Jordan Kwiatkowski, hands down, he's got multiple Defensive Player of the Weeks for the MAC. I think it's got to be him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It was like a toss-up between Kwiatkowski and Michael Heldman, but because of the MAC Player of the Week, I got to give it to him. Both those guys have been total studs, but if you had to compare the two, like Jordan just barely inches through on that one.
I'll keep it on the defense, but I'm going to give a biased answer and say Brendan Diaz-Fernandez because he went to my high school, Belleville. So.
That's valid, honestly. Yeah.
Would it be crazy to throw out a position group and say the running back core?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Those guys have been just absolutely chugging along on offense.
I think no.
I think even adding on to that, I do agree with running back core, but I think also the offensive line in general, just because of the style of play that we know that the 11 on the other side, they know we want to run the ball most of the time. The fact that our offensive line has been able to produce still, I think, is a huge credit to them.
Well, and it didn't matter who was running the ball. We had multiple quarterbacks that were running the ball as well. So I don't think it's just running backs. I think you got to go offensive line.
I like that. All right, let's move on to our next topic.
Better college football conference, Big Ten or SEC?
Oh, this is not even a contest. And I'm sorry to say it in the Midwest. The Southeastern Conference historically is the much better conference.
Are we talking historically or are we talking currently?
It's all time.
But in the context of this question, what do we?
Okay, currently it's also the SEC. The Big Ten has 3 teams that are ranked. They have they have more than 3, but they have 3 contending teams right now.
I think
that's not good enough.
But also, you have to understand how they're ranked too. It's ESPN in this TV deal with the SEC is a huge part of this ranking bias, I believe.
Okay, so you're going to tell me that the 3rd best Big Ten team is better than the 3rd best SEC team?
I think so. Who would you say the 3rd best SEC team is?
Well, I think
I'd probably take Oregon over whoever that is.
Georgia?
I probably wouldn't say Georgia's better. The 3rd
or
better.
Ole Miss or Alabama?
Oh, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, 100%.
Yeah, Oregon over Ole Miss, 100%.
I think I'd even take
Who have
them over.
they beat?
What do you mean?
Who has Oregon beat?
They beat USC, but you can only play whoever.
That's not a good team.
I think that we put a lot of bias on the SEC programs and just the fact that they're SEC that they're just so much better just off a name bias.
Well, it just means more.
Exactly, yeah. But you look at the bowl games the last 2 years, the Big Ten has dominated the SEC. The team you look at South Carolina last year, they were arguing that they should be in the playoffs. Illinois, a team that no shot in the Big Ten, beats them in a bowl game when South Carolina plays everybody. And last 2 national champions have been the Big Ten. So that's my look on it, but I'm interested to see if we got any other.
I think it depends on if you want to go ultimate value or depth. Because I'd say the Big Ten, they're a little bit stronger with their top couple of teams, but then you look into the depth of the SEC, a lot of those games are still going to be enjoyable to watch, even if these aren't ranked teams or if you go a step further and say
the
playoff
5th best
teams.
versus the 5th best, who's winning? The SEC.
I think it's the
Big
SEC.
100%.
But also, too, are you discrediting also how good the top of the Big Ten is? That the fact that they're dominating like they are, too?
Well, but they're not, because who has Ohio State beat? I know you're a Buckeye.
I agree with you, but also, too, you see all these SEC teams struggling in these games that they really shouldn't. You see A&M against a bad South Carolina team.
Well, they beat the wheels off everybody else. They have one bad game.
But also, if you look at it, I don't know the exact number, but all their SEC wins, I think at least 4 of those teams have fired their head coach this year. So also, it's...
Well, if you coach in the SEC and you're not winning championships, you're going to get fired.
Expectations, I think, are a lot
That's
higher
fair.
in the SEC.
I would also say, though, you look at the SEC, the same few teams win it every year, just like the Big Ten.
That's true.
Well, unless you
That's
got
fair.
teams like Indiana that can just turn it over like in the, randomly after like only 2 years, you're going to have that top ones. And yeah, the SEC, tends to be those ones where like they're just consistently powerful. Like I'd rather watch Vanderbilt play than, I don't know, Minnesota,
Well, Vanderbilt's a really solid program
right,
right now.
but even when they were not a solid program.
I don't think Vanderbilt was they weren't even winning SEC games.
I would still watch them over a Minnesota game.
What do you think?
I think Minnesota's solid. I think PJ Fleck is entertaining, but I'm a Big Ten guy, so I mean I would have to be biased. But I think the SEC is better probably. But since the addition of Oregon, USC, and Indiana emerging, I would say that moving forward it's going to be the Big Ten.
All right, well, let's move on to the next topic here. Michigan's title deserves an asterisk.
Yes, absolutely.
I would say so.
100%. I will die on this hill.
Should we fight people?
Probably.
This is
Is
a
it my
joke.
problem is I'm kind of leaning towards you guys too a little bit.
That's why I love Jackson.
I think that the actual
I don't know about
like
love.
winning,
Best Ohio State
the
fan I
actual
know.
winning of the
For sure,
title,
100%.
the actual winning of the title, I don't think has an asterisk on it because you don't have you weren't cheating during that time. Stallions was gone. You won it after he was already gone. But the creation of that team would have never been a thing because Harbaugh would have been fired in 21 after if you wouldn't have backed out of the 2020 game against Ohio State, he would have been fired after that, or even the 21 game. But I think the actual title itself doesn't have an asterisk for the team.
That's the only argument I'd listen to. My argument would be the allegations came out in October 2023. The moment those allegations came out, Ohio State fans spread to social media and they said that's the only reason they beat us. They said, come November, we're going to smack them because they don't know our plays anymore. Michigan beats them, and then they say it's still because they know our plays.
Well, and
After
how
making a
does-
big deal of changing their signs.
Yeah, and Michigan beat Washington. How could we have possibly known Washington's plays? There's no way you're looking at the beginning of the season, circling Washington as a playoff contender and saying, yeah, we're going to go make sure we know their plays because we're going to see them in the playoffs.
Well, there's no way that, obviously they didn't have the playbook for every single team they play. They're obviously going to have it for, the good teams on that one. So, like what you guys said, setting up that team to then be successful in the big games, too. That's what got them. Maybe it didn't win them the Natty game itself, but it definitely set them up in that position. Also, you can't convince me that J.J. McCarthy was, the quarterback to win that game. That was another thing, too.
To be
He
fair,
didn't.
they-
Blake
they-
Corum won it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
It's a great argument.
So then
that's a different
what does that
argument
have to do with
altogether.
us winning a
but
championship?
that's a different argument altogether. But
Okay,
still.
okay.
But at the same time, if Michigan State is having wins taken away from Mel Tucker,
That is ridiculous.
that too.
That-
You get
that
a
is
then
ridiculous.
shouldn't Michigan get more than a slap on the wrist?
Yeah, you get a slap in the wrist
They
for buying.
literally
lost a
did
lot
an
of money.
investigation and found nothing more than what was already stated, and it wasn't that much against the rules. The punishment was given out. Michigan State did something so against the rules that they had to vacate wins. It's a rule book thing.
So
the
there's-
NCAA penalizes more for recruiting violations than it does for trying to do something that everybody does to get a
Ineligible
competitive
players is a
advantage.
guaranteed vacated win. That's
But there's no evidence simply because he threw the phone in a lake. Right.
people will argue about this
okay.
until
You
the
know,
sun explodes.
Did the Astros get their championship taken away?
They-
Am I
they
remembering
don't-
this
they
incorrectly?
They don't punish like the NCAA does, though. The MLB doesn't punish like that. Clearly, we're not going to agree on this topic, so we're going to move. We ran out of time in this first segment, but don't go anywhere. We'll have a new little crew around us, talk about a little bit more topics next on Sports Central.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org. There are a lot of words I would use to describe my daughter. Kind, strong, hilarious. When I think about how much she's experienced in her life, we can't help but be inspired by her every day. So really, we're the lucky ones.
Welcome back. We've got the charcuterie board at the desk with us today. Cheese and grapes. It's Trevin and Nick. We've got NFL topics now. We're going to split it into 2 shorter segments. So without further ado, Jackson's going to go to the hat.
Time for a new Lions QB? Question mark.
No. Simply no. Trevin, I know you're going to have my back on this one, but just give me a minute. Why? Simply why? When you have Jared Goff and he has time in the pocket, he doesn't miss passes, right? Obviously, Amon-Ra has been questionable, but that has nothing to do with Jared Goff. When he has time in the pocket, he will destroy a defense. He is super methodical. He just makes the right plays. You don't really see any bad decisions out of Jared Goff. The only problem with Jared Goff that you can argue is that he's immobile. But with the run game that we have, with some of the blocking could be better for sure with the O-line, but when he has that time in the pocket, he will destroy a defense.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because the O-line for the Lions has kind of been underwhelming in a way. They kind of been collapsing too soon, so it doesn't give Goff enough time in the set pocket. Now, if you look at it, yes, it may look like it's Goff's fault. Everyone's blaming Goff, but I really think it's more of an offensive line issue more than Goff. So honestly, yes, Goff has not been performing well, but it's because his team hasn't been backing him up. So there's that.
I'd agree. I don't think it's time for a new quarterback, but I think you also have to realize that if Jared Goff's going to be the quarterback of your team, that you might have to change some things up. You need that interior of your line to be strong. And with the loss of Frank Ragnow, the O-line's just not good enough for Jared Goff. So I don't think it's time for a new quarterback, but I think you need to make changes around him for the Lions to be good enough for Jared Goff to be their quarterback.
To piggyback off of that, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs has been super good. I want to argue MVP worthy, but David Montgomery is a much better pass blocker. So do we start to see David Montgomery getting more reps in there to give some pass blocking for Goff? I think that would be beneficial, but then at the same time, you're taking away one of your best skilled players.
I want to just counter off of that because, Goff, yes, it's time for a change because as a quarterback, you need to be able to deal with under pressure. And also, Goff is just relying on Gibbs too much. Obviously, Gibbs is a great player, but, the offense is just Jahmyr Gibbs, especially with that Giants game, with him having over 200 yards and Goff's just not playing well.
Well, that's not Goff's decision, though. That's whoever's the play caller to give Gibbs all those carries. But I think that it's not that it's Goff's problem. It's that he needs to have a good O-line around him. Obviously, especially an interior of an O-line, he's just not fleet of foot. But I don't think every quarterback has to be able to move like that. We saw it for years. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, they didn't move a whole lot, and because they had a good supporting cast around them, they were able to make things work.
Can I make 2 quick counterpoints over on Nick here? One, last year and maybe even the last 2 years, Goff has been incredible against the blitz. So saying he's not good under pressure, I would say is bogus. I think the difference this year is the O-line is just that much worse to where he has even less time. Like we saw the other day against the Giants, is some of these defensive linemen are just running straight through the line with nothing stopping them. My other point is if they need a change with Goff, who would be the replacement? I don't think there are very many other people that would be solid quarterbacks, especially not better than Jared Goff. If we're looking at the Cleveland Browns, where their 2 choices are Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, there clearly are not better options than Jared Goff out there.
And I would, adding on to that, if you look around the league, how many other quarterbacks would you rather have be the quarterback of the Lions over Jared Goff? I'd say it's under 8.
I would narrow that down even more.
Yeah, exactly. At least, that's what I mean.
I'd say 2.
That's about
2 QBs.
That's about more than 10.
2 QBs.
I'd say about 10 to 12.
More than 10?
More than 10?
What?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
No.
I would say that.
You're on something.
I don't know.
I don't know if I can agree with that either.
All right, I think that pretty much filled up our entire short segment here. That was good discussion. And Nick's wrong. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be back for more NFL topics when we return on Sports Central.
Welcome back to Sports Central. We're back for part 2 of our NFL topic questions, joined by Aiden and Ian. Peyton, how about you open up that hat, get us that first
my
topic.
turn with the hat. Lions Super Bowl window, open or closed?
There's always a possibility. You can't count anyone out. If they're in the playoffs, they have a chance.
I agree with that for sure.
I can agree, but I think until something changes with the defense, especially the corners, and I guess we can bring the O-line to it too. The Super Bowl window is closed.
I think it's very much. I know people will debate that once they have to pay everybody that the window is still that the window will be closed, so that's coming to a close. But I think that they still are. It's pretty open. They've just extended most of their top guys. They got them for years down the road. I don't see a reason why it's not open for the next few years.
I think it's really easy to say that we had better opportunities the past 2 years, but by no means are we out of it. Is it a somewhat disappointing season? Sure. But we can still very much even win our division, much less we're most likely going to make the playoffs. And this is a team that can beat any team. So I don't see how you could count them out at all.
I can agree with that, but I just see the point of we're looking at this season, and we might start another argument with this, but I think if the team, the way the team is playing now, I see them legitimately missing out on the playoffs this year unless something changes. So that's why I'm saying the Super Bowl window is closed until they can figure something out. So I think the window is closed, but it's also a chance of it being open at the same time. It's still 50-50.
I think we undervalue how hard it is to win in the NFL. I think we got spoiled,
100%.
especially last year with just the way that the team was blowing out everybody. The NFL is built for you to go 8-8 every year. It's built for parity. That's why you see when you look at the lines of games, not many are above a touchdown spread. No matter how bad a team is, most of the time those games end up in one possession games. So I think even though they didn't play their best yesterday against the Giants, I don't think by any means that means that they're not going to make the playoffs at all or even in contention of really that ever happening.
I agree. And I don't think you can say it's completely closed because think about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, what would we say about the Baltimore Ravens? Because they were, a 1-5 team at one point, and now I believe they're tied for their division and looking like a solid team again. So they're still somehow open after what we thought was pretty much the end of their season early on. This team is 1 game back in the division, still above 500, still for the most part playing good ball. I think they still have a good opportunity. I think just as long as they don't fall apart somehow near the end of the season, they have a decent chance to go out and they can, again, win against any team.
And this 3-game stretch coming up, I think it's Packers, Cowboys, I can't think of the third team all of a sudden. That stretch will really show if the Lions are a playoff caliber team this season and if they can keep it together looking ahead, even for next season, honestly, because you're going to have the same guys back plus free agency ads. So this is just going to be a stretch of who wants it more, who wants to win, who wants to leave.
I think you can make the argument, maybe not this year, but I feel like next year they definitely have a better chance because they had a new offensive and defensive coordinator. I feel like that takes time to figure out, along with the play calling. I think next year definitely have a better shot.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I just find it hard that even to give up on this year. Look back a few weeks ago, Lions fans were as happy as they could be with this season, and then just after a few games where you're struggling, that just goes out of the window. I really struggle seeing that.
I think we're also like this in 23, where we thought the season was over with, and then all of a sudden, they're in the playoffs. They did it. So I think this is just a repeat of. You can flame me on this, but the 22, 23, 24 season, whatever that is, where they won the last game to make it in. So I just think it just depends.
I think this upcoming stretch will definitely determine that. That should be all the time we have for this segment, but hold tight. We still have one more on Sports Central.
Hi. I'm your retirement fear. But don't be scared. You're still in pre-retirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. Here, this is pretirement.org.
Retirement savings options? Potential tax breaks?
Ooh,
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
you got this.
Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check.
Welcome back to Sports Central. We got a bit of a miscellaneous topics. There could be anything in here. Joined by Luke, Eli, and Cooper. We'll start up. I'll open up the hat today, Peyton. In a Hunger Games, what college mascot would win?
Ironically, we were discussing this earlier.
Yeah.
And what we brought up was Cyclones. Because how do you really defeat a storm? The only argument against that would be that at one point it's going to pass. And if you survive it, you win. That's how Hunger Games works, right? So that's a question to put out there.
The first one that pops into my mind, I know we talked about it, UAB, they're the Blazers, which is a dragon pretty much. So I think that'd be pretty tough to go up against. I don't really know what's going to stop that.
I don't know how high dragons can fly, but if they can go above a
I
storm,
don't
then they're going to outlast that storm pretty well. So then what counters the dragon?
You know, just because it's my favorite mascot and I have some history with it. You remember the NCAA 14, the mascot mode where you get to play whatever mascot you want? Give me the Stanford tree. Give me the Stanford tree to go into battle. Whatever I need, that tree's going to get it done. I don't care about no dragon, no hurricane, no anything, no cyclone. Give me the Stanford tree to get the job
But how does it defeat anything?
It's a tree.
Yeah,
Tree's
gotta
been
win.
along.
It's got to
Thanks
win,
for
though. It's
proving
somehow
my
got to
point.
win.
It's a tree.
Have you
Is it going to drop dangerous pine cones on people?
have you beaten a tree in a fight before? I don't think so.
Cam Scatterboot might have.
Yeah. I know how to chop wood. That's essentially beating a tree.
Well, guys, I'm going to go here. You got to have the armor. I'm going to go Michigan State Spartans. Even though I'm wearing a Michigan jersey, I'm going to go a Spartan because they have all the armor and they're protected and they won't
But
get
I think the dragon
They're
still
human,
wins
though.
that,
That's
though.
the problem. Like, you got, like, if you go Arizona State, a Sun Devil, or, like, I don't know, even, there's a lot of different, like, mythical mascots that I don't think any human mascot really has an argument.
If we say Notre Dame, can we count leprechauns in the Fighting Irish? Because who really knows what a leprechaun can do?
You could say also Duke, the Blue Devils. I
There
would
you
say
go.
if anything, it would be between Arizona State and Duke in the finals, between the Sun Devils and the Blue Devils right there.
That's
I don't know. I like my tree.
All
I
right.
like my tree.
We can't beat it. Let's just say the tree wins.
The tree,
go with
the tree will
We
win.
decided that
Yeah,
the tree
this-
is going to win. We'll move on to
I think the Crimson Tide beats a tree, though.
There you go.
The tree can just blend in.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next topic in the
What
hat.
tree am I talking about?
Which tree?
Camouflage.
Is it one tree or is it multiple
You
trees?
don't know.
All right, next topic. The NBA should do 1 through 16 playoff seeding. True or false?
1 through 16?
It means
That is what it says.
I
on
believe
it.
that means no conferences, so it's just the
Yes.
16 best records. I don't think so because I think the NBA has already gone too far with divisions don't matter. So if we make it to where conferences don't matter, then it's just what do you play for anymore? Rivalries will be dead, and it's just if you go 1 through 16, and the West is so much better than the East that I think 11 or 12 of the teams would be from the Western Conference. So if you're an Eastern Conference team, what are you even playing for anymore? So I think that you got to stay in the conference.
I like how it is. It gives like the equal. It does give that equal setup because, right now, I think all of the 8, like the top 10 teams in the Western Conference all have a winning record right now, I believe. So, the Western Conference just overpowers the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I'd agree that I don't think that they should change it. I think we've seen it in other sports where one side of a conference is stronger than the other. Throughout time, it's going to even out at some point. So I really don't see a reason why you should make it 1 through 16 seeding.
I personally do not care for the NBA. So if they want to make that change, go for it. But I think they need to make a lot more change if they want to be a respectable league to me. I only watch the Pistons, and that's probably going to stay
that's
the
tough.
same.
That's tough.
It's probably going to stay the same because I despise that league.
I agree
That's all
with
I
you,
got.
Peyton.
That's all I got.
I agree
That's
with you,
all I got.
Peyton.
I mean, I would say really, I want to bring up what Luke said, that divisions don't matter. I kind of like how that is because if it's like the NFL in any way, you'd have teams that are just barely over 500, like the NFC South, like with the Buccaneers, making it into the playoffs with a high seeding at that point. It wouldn't matter at all, but I do think that I like how it is right now with even with having to go through the East and having to go through the West, and then facing off for both teams who are the best in their conference, facing off for who's the best in the NBA.
All right, I think we kind of around the table agree. So we'll move on to another topic maybe where we don't agree as much. Who is the worst NBA player that could lead a 16 seed to a tournament victory? Like all the way. They take them win the whole tournament. Who's the worst NBA player that could do that?
Can I vote to just skip this topic?
Yeah, can I skip this topic?
I vote skip.
Yeah.
Can we just get out
Can
of
we
the
get a
NBA?
next
Oh,
question?
I'm
Next
so
question.
sorry.
Next question.
God, these guys hate me, bro. I
hate
can't
the
be
NBA,
talking.
not you.
Well, this is a perfect topic for that, actually. How can we make the NBA watchable?
Perfect.
That's
great.
Fine. It's fine the way it is.
No, it's not.
It is not.
No, it is not.
It is not.
We don't want
Yeah.
college basketball is for amateurs.
No.
not
College
NBA
basketball is
players.
10 times better
College
than the
basketball
NBA.
is way more watchable.
You're telling me you would rather watch the NBA than watch March Madness.
That's different.
I think
It's college basketball.
I'd rather watch the NBA playoffs than March Madness.
Well, that's horrible.
crazy.
That's
No,
horrible.
that's crazy.
Nobody
No,
ever.
I will give you this though. I will watch last year's NBA Finals over a little bit of March Madness from last year. At last year's NBA Finals with the Thunder and the Pacers, that was
It was a good series.
great
It's the
series.
best players in the world playing in the best form of basketball, playing for the NBA Finals. You can't get better than that.
It's just not the best form of
The NBA is
basketball.
just not the best
I
form
think
of
the problem
basketball.
College basketball is just played better. They play with more heart,
It's
more
less
hustle,
skill.
more dignity.
It's less skill.
College
I'm sorry.
basketball-
So I don't think that's valid enough. I think they just play a better brand of basketball. It may not be as skillful, but I think they put more into their games, and it just makes it better basketball.
I mean, college basketball players, right? They're playing for that spot. They're playing to get that #1 pick in the NBA draft. So they're putting in more work to get there. The NBA, you're getting a contract. You can sit out, 40 games in a season, 30 games in a season. But
Like
at the same time, college basketball players, they both work just as hard. But I just think college basketball is more fun to watch in the long run because it's just you get some of these, Northwood University beat Western Michigan. That's not something that you're going to see in the NBA.
Well, it's very different. There's not 100 teams in the NBA, so you're going to get way more of those crazy upsets or whatever.
But that's what makes it fun.
I would agree, but I think the problem with the NBA is just the way it's officiated. I think at least to me, that's the main issue with it. I agree with Luke's point that I think it is the best form of basketball. It's the most skillful basketball. Maybe it's not the way that it was exactly hoped that it would be played by James Naismith back when he created the
peach
sport.
baskets back then.
Exactly,
they didn't know
but
what was gonna go.
It's I don't know. I find it tough to say that college basketball is so much better than it. I think
March Madness is good because of the storylines, not because of the actual basketball game itself. A 16 seed making a run is good because of the storyline, not because they're a good team.
Yeah, I think also, I don't know. I just think college basketball, kind of the point of they're working to get into the NBA. I don't really see nowadays because they have NIL now. I feel like personally, I don't see as much of that anymore.
Yeah, and then also too, then there'd be no point of professional sports. So what they do, it's almost saying that they're not playing for anything in professional sports, which I think is totally not the case.
That's true. And also, I just want to say, NBA players sit out a whole lot of games. In the NHL, on the other hand, they play the same amount of games. Their bodies are put into a lot bigger of a burden than NBA players, and you don't see them sitting out games. Alex Ovechkin is ancient at this point, and he's still doing just fine.
Look at
still playing every
LeBron.
game.
Look at LeBron.
I don't see LeBron.
played
LeBron
his
isn't
first
playing.
game. LeBron
I'm just
played
saying
his first
he's
year.
still playing the sport, not because he's not playing
this
right
is
now.
irrelevant. Objection, irrelevant. We're talking about NHL. This is
NBA
irrelevant.
player. My
This is
point
irrelevant.
is, NBA players are soft. College basketball players, they're not.
Well, it looks like we're just going to have to agree to disagree. For Cooper, for Luke, for Eli, I'm Jackson Bickers.
I'm Peyton Price, and
And
this
this
has
has
been
Sports Central.